Chapter 38. Underground Parking Lot. Uncle Shu was sincerely looking out for Chen Ge, so he did not hide anything. He laid out everything on the table. Now, do you still want to invest in the haunted house? I'm still willing to give it a try. After all, that new park isn't completed yet, so we still have a chance. Chen Ge's secret weapon was the black phone, but of course he could not tell anyone that. You're such a bright kid normally, so why are you so stubborn when it comes to crucial matters? Do you not see the eroding flow of time? I've worked here for 10 years already, so I also wish for this place to stay, but we have to surrender to reality. Uncle Shu pointed at the few attractions that were already foreclosed around them. Do you know why they are all closed? Not because they did not pass the safety inspection as the rumors say, but because once they're turned on, they start to burn money. Having 1 or 2 visitors is not enough to break even. Imagine, when New Century Park was open, the place was crowded. Our parking lot was not enough to support the crowd, so we had to rent the parking space from the nearby shops. The situation only got better after the new underground parking lot was built. But in the last 3 years, even during the height of holiday fever, the underground parking lot has never been needed. In fact, the number of visitors has been constantly dropping and we've reached a new low this year. Uncle Shu, wait a minute. You said the underground parking lot hasn't been needed since 3 years ago, meaning the parking lot hasn't been used since then? Does this mean it's currently abandoned? Chen Ge had a glow in his eyes that made Uncle Shu uncomfortable. Yes, when New Century Park was first opened, there were cars and people everywhere. You would need to line up for at least 2 hours for any attraction. That was the time of our prime. Alas, we're now slowly being forgotten by the city. Thinking about the past, Uncle Shu could not help but sigh. However, that's nothing to be sad about. After all, we were lucky enough to once enjoy a time of glory, right? Uncle Shu, if one wished to rent the park's underground parking lot, how much would it cost? Huh? Uncle Shu was confused by Chen Ge's sudden question. Why would you ask that? A plan was forming in Chen Ge's mind. Now he had found the ideal space to expand his haunted house. I want to reuse the parking lot. According to what you said, it's currently in a half-abandoned state, so why not let me use it? Have you lost your mind? Why do you want to rent that place? To rear bats? Uncle Shu really feared that this young man had lost his mind. Since the park management would eventually catch on to what he was doing, Chen Ge did not consider lying about it. I want to expand the haunted house. With my current financial situation, the underground parking lot is perfect. The rent won't be that high, and the underground environment is a perfect match for a haunted house. Kid, what's wrong with you today? A 3-story haunted house is not enough for you to worry about? Do you know how large the underground parking lot is? Even if the management is willing to rent it to you when you finish setting up the place, the park will already be closed. Uncle Shu shrugged. Don't be stupid. You had better focus on your work. Uncle Shu, I'm serious. Do you think I'm joking with you? After switching the walkie-talkie back on, Uncle Shu wandered back to the crowd. When he was several steps away, he turned back to tell Chen Ge, I'll give you the 5,000 tomorrow morning, but make sure you keep your feet firmly on solid ground. Stop imagining the impossible. I know. Chen Ge followed behind Uncle Shu. Looking at the crowd that had gathered in front of his haunted house, he pouted. In any case, I don't feel like the number of visitors has decreased. After all, my haunted house has always enjoyed a 0 visitor rate before this. After squeezing through the crowd, Chen Ge stood beside the group of students and said, Rested enough already? If you don't get up soon, these people are going to think I did some immoral things to all of you. Give me a few more minutes. Your haunted house needs some time to digest. What are you looking at? I'm not afraid. I merely sprained my ankle when I was in there, so that's why I can't get up now. Everyone looks like a killer to me now. What am I to do? Stop being so stubborn. We lost to his haunted house this time, Monkey said as he climbed down the steps. He waved the 5 stars review he just submitted on the haunted house on his phone before Chen Ge and stood before the man saying, But don't think that's the end of this. We're not going to surrender so easily. Meaning, you all plan to come back tomorrow? If not for the fact we have exams tomorrow, do you think would really be afraid of the challenge? Monkey sounded rather brave. If only his pale lips could stop quivering and his legs could stop shaking. Either way, my doors are always open for business, should any of you want to come again. Chen Ge was close to treating the students from Zhejiang Medical University as his lucky charm. I will not be coming back again. You'll have to drag my dead body here if you want me to come back here. He-san looked gloomily at Chen Ge. It looked like the young man was truly scarred by the bloodshot eye in the crack of the door. Junior, be careful what you wish for. Xiao Hui stood up with help from He-san. She glared at Chen Ge. You're the first man who has made me cry to the point that my makeup is all ruined. I'll definitely remember you. Noticing the bump on the back of Xiao Hui's head, he did not have the heart to fight back, so he merely smiled. The group of medical students headed toward the entrance of the park, holding each other for support. When Chen Ge thought they had left, Brother Feng came running back to him alone. With a complicated expression, he told Chen Ge, I've been thinking about your question. I'm still unable to believe that they're real. If anything, it's probably explainable using theories related to psychological trauma and stimulus. Chen Ge knew what he was referring to. Perhaps, by the way, I haven't gotten your full name. It's He Feng. I'm older than most of them and will be starting my residency in a few days. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Hopefully we'll meet again soon. After they exchanged phone numbers, Chen Ge returned to the haunted house. He closed the gates and placed a sign saying, temporarily closed for maintenance on it. Boss, there's still many visitors waiting outside. Why are we closing? There's a little problem, so we'll call it a day. Do you mind explaining it to the customers? Chen Ge took off the Dr. Skullcracker outfit and went back to the props room to cut up some black clothes before he headed back up the murder by midnight scenario. He started covering all the mirrors, but there were too many rooms, and he soon ran out of cloth. This scenario is too big. Before the cameras are ready, I cannot risk the visitors' lives by having them up here. It's too dangerous. After locking up the door to the murder by midnight scenario, Chen Ge returned downstairs. The visitors outside the haunted house had mostly left. Only 1 or 2 visitors still remained. Xiao Wan, you can remove your makeup. It's time to go home. After saying goodbye to Xiao Wan, Chen Ge returned to the staff break room. He hadn't had a real rest since the day before, so he fell asleep the moment his head hit the pillow. Chapter 39. The sound from the 3rd floor. With the arrival of night, silence fell over the haunted house like a blanket. Suddenly, a weird sound like someone was sawing something shattered the peaceful quiet. In the staff break room, Chen Ge's eyes slowly peeled open. He glanced at the phone. It was 1:10 a.m. He turned to bury his head under the pillow, but the weird sound kept drilling itself into his ears. Am I dreaming? Who is making all that noise? Every single prop in the haunted house was handmade or upgraded by Chen Ge, so he knew that no prop in the building would make a sawing sound. After only 6 hours of sleep, Chen Ge was still feeling a bit blurry. He pinched the inside of his leg hard to wake himself up, before putting on his clothes and grabbing an iron hammer out of the nearby toolbox. He switched on the flashlight and pushed the door of the break room open. The haunted house at midnight was many times scarier than it was during daytime. Chen Ge leaned against the door, not in a hurry to go out. Can't be a burglar. Would any sane person choose to rob a haunted house near midnight? Can't be the rats either. The sound of their chewing wouldn't be so loud and clear. After vetoing these 2 normal possibilities, Chen Ge's mind wandered toward the not-so-normal possibility. Could it be that the monster has escaped from the mirror? Due to a lack of cloth, not all the mirrors on the 3rd floor's murder by midnight scenario were covered up. He stared down the darkened hallway and retreated back into the break room. He only dared wander out after grabbing the doll his parents left behind for him. The sound came from above, so Chen Ge followed the sound up the stairs before stopping at the door to the murder by midnight scenario. As I expected, it's coming from here. But now it's unclear whether the source is the lingering spirits from Ping An Apartments or the mirror monster. Chen Ge hesitated at the door. Honestly, he too was not that willing to enter a scary scenario so late at night. However, allowing himself to be tortured by the sawing sound was not a valid solution either. Chen Ge gripped the hammer in his hand and said in his heart, I have the Spectre's favored title and have received the goodwill from the residents of Ping An Apartment's lingering spirits. Therefore, even if it is the thing from inside the mirror, it won't be able to do me much harm. He was reminded of what happened to He-san. It was Xiao Wan's sudden appearance that ruined the thing's plan, so in a way the monster probably was not as powerful as he made it out to be. Chen Ge was cool and collected. The monster inside the mirror was acting more and more wantonly, so if he did not deal with it soon, he would not be able to operate the haunted house peacefully. Chen Ge hugged the 4 dolls in his arms as he left the murder-by-midnight scenario. He locked the door behind him before going to the props room. As he sewed the cuts back up, he tried to come up with a plan. The creature is highly aggressive and seems to have a curious interest in live humans, so the simplest way of luring it out of the mirror is to use a live human as bait. Chen Ge was a master seamstress because he patched up most of the injuries in just a few minutes. But the real question is, after I've lured it out, how do I kill it? Rumors say that ghosts are all afraid of salt and garlic, but must I risk my life to try out such hearsay? Chen Ge thought about it before deciding to log into the supernatural forums to ask the experts. Chapter 40. New Nightmare Mission. After logging in, Chen Ge noticed his username had changed into a purple color. Clicking on his account profile, he realized it was because the 30-minute video that he had posted the other day had been shared, viewed, recommended, and commented at least several thousand times already. With a cursory glance, Chen Ge found nothing useful. Most of them were there simply due to curiosity. Who knows? Perhaps this might work. Maybe there are experts hiding on the internet. Chen Ge started writing a new thread to provide more information about the mirror monster and used the special power afforded purple accounts to open a bounty thread. After playing the game on the video, I realized I'm now being haunted by the creature inside the mirror, asking for help on how to remove this threat. The replies came pouring in mere seconds later. OP1, you're still alive? A black dog's blood is the best solution, or rear a cock. Legend says all the bad stuff are afraid of cocks. OP, listen to me and call this number. Tell them you need help. You can thank me later. Ghosts are nothing but memories that were left behind in the physical world. Killing it will only earn you bad karma. Kindness goes a long way. OP, have you tried reasoning with it? Education is the best solution. If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Mix yellow bean, white rice, and Indian ink together. Soak them in salt water for 15 minutes. Spread them on the ground to watch them grow into powerful bean warriors. I once saw a video that described the story of a man who was also haunted by a female ghost. To deal with her, he bought a gun, and when the female ghost returned that night, the man shot himself and later dragged the ghost into the bedroom to... OP, serious though, listen to me. This method will definitely work. Go find an iron sword, preferably one that has tasted blood before. Ghosts are nothing but special magnetic energy, and such a sword will be able to harm them. Chen Ge scrolled through the comments, and only the iron sword seemed somewhat plausible. The others were merely trolling or impossible to accomplish. He also knew about the traditional legends regarding the exorcism power of a black dog's blood and cocks. But where was he going to find such things in the middle of the night? After leaving the forum, Chen Ge tossed his phone to the side, spacing out as he sat in his chair. Combating the mirror monster meant putting his life on the line. He definitely could not rely on these half-baked online suggestions. After a roundabout detour, Chen Ge pulled out the black phone again. He knew he had to rely on the black phone because it was the only thing that was trustworthy. However, the black phone operated on the law of equivalent exchange. To gain something, something of equal value had to be lost. After several days of trial and error, Chen Ge had gained some understanding regarding the hidden laws of the black phone, such as its mission reward structure. Easy and normal missions rewarded items that would supplement the operation of the haunted house. Only nightmare missions would provide rewards that were directly beneficial to Chen Ge, like special powers. In other words, to deal with the creature inside the mirror, completing easy and normal missions were pointless. He needed the reward from the nightmare mission. However, Chen Ge was hesitant. because he knew how dangerous Nightmare Mission. He could easily attract another dangerous specter on top of the mirror monster. What should I do? Take the stakes, or wait a little while longer? It was then that Chen Ge realized it was already a new day, meaning the daily missions had been refreshed. Easy mission. If you want to provide the visitors a scary experience, then first you have to pay notice to the rhythm and tempo of their experience in the haunted house. Setting off the scare too early might cause the visitors to lose their interest, so it is suggested that you install some sound detectors or surveillance cameras in the haunted house to keep track of your visitors' progress. Normal mission. You've achieved the criteria to enable the first expansion of the haunted house. Search for a suitable location soon. Due to the current space limitation, you are unable to perform any trial missions to unlock scenarios. Nightmare mission. There are weird sounds coming from the bathroom every midnight. If you want to know why, follow my directions. Daily missions will refresh every day at midnight. User can only apply for one mission each day, and the reward corresponds to the difficulty of the mission. Beware, the more difficult the mission, the more dangerous it'll be, so please choose carefully. Chen Ge read the mission descriptions. Since he temporarily could not complete the normal mission, he skipped it. Thus, he was left with the choice of the easy mission or nightmare mission. When Uncle Shu gets me the money tomorrow morning, it should take less than a day to purchase all the necessary surveillance, but it'll take more than that to install it all. According to the description, the nightmare mission is related to the bathroom. It sounds creepy. Chen Ge was caught between a rock and a hard place. He was not confident that he could finish the easy mission, and even if he did, the reward would not be that great. However, the nightmare mission was too dangerous. After all, it all started inside the bathroom. He sat mired in his thoughts inside the props room. Before he came to a decision, the sound of sawing came again. This time, more distracting than before. Chen Ge titled his head back and was sure that the source was again the third floor. I've already carried out all 4 of the dolls. What else is it cutting? Chen Ge found the creature increasingly irksome. After putting the sewn dolls back into his pocket, he rushed up the stairs to the 3rd floor holding his trusty hammer. When he arrived at the entrance to the murder by midnight scenario, he was shocked by what he saw. There were mirror pieces lying around the entrance, and there were scratch marks on the wooden door. The creature has been clawing at the door. What is it up to? Chen Ge's back was covered with cold sweat. He could imagine a monster holding the mirror pieces while running around the building when he was asleep. He would never allow such a dangerous existence to live under the same roof as him. Normally a nice guy, Chen Ge had sour expression at that moment. He locked the door to the murder by midnight scenario behind him and walked down the corridor, gripping the hammer. He stalked into every room to shatter every mirror he could find on the 3rd floor. The sound of glass shattering echoed through the night. Chen Ge felt more like himself when he reached the end of the 3rd floor corridor. During the first nightmare mission, the creature was held back by the doll who sat before the mirror. When it was attacking He-san, it had to retreat when Xiaowan strode into the room. However, after assaulting He-feng, it gained the ability to leave the mirror. It's growing, and it's growing fast. Chen Ge knew he could not wait anymore. His haunted house was finally on its way back, and he could not allow it to be ruined by an unknown creature. After leaving the scenario and locking the door once more, Chen Ge switched on the black phone to accept the nightmare mission with a do-or-die determination. Hopefully the reward for this mission will be powerful enough. Are you sure you wish to accept the nightmare mission? After acceptance, unknown circumstances might occur. Yes. The screen glowed, and the actual nightmare mission description started to surface. Chapter 41. Hold your breath. The specters favored. Your courage is admirable. The nightmare mission this time is both a test and a reward. The name of the game is Deep Water. It can allow you to bypass the line between the living and the dead, giving you the opportunity to see those who have unfortunately passed away. Mission requirement. Enter the bathroom alone at 3:30 a.m. Lock the door and turn off the lights. Fill up the tub with water and light a candle by the side before lying in it. The period between 3:30 and 3:40 a.m. is the time of a day when yin energy is most concentrated. It is also when the yin and yang cycle of the day converge. What you need to do is hold your breath at 3:44 a.m. and submerge yourself underwater, thinking about the name of the person you wish to meet the most. When time enters the twilight period between darkness and light, you'll be able to see them at the edge of living and dead. Mission will be accomplished if you see said individual is. If you do not, the mission will be automatically completed after holding your breath for 60 seconds. Chen Ge had a complicated feeling after reading the mission description. Compared to the first nightmare mission, this mission seemed a lot simpler. Closing one's eyes for 30 minutes in a scary environment required superhuman courage and staunch constitution, but holding one's breath for 60 seconds seemed doable for most. However, it was exactly because it was doable by most that he was worried. This was a nightmare mission. It could not be that simple. Similar to the previous nightmare mission, the location is the bathroom, but the difference is that I'm required to sink myself inside the bathtub and hold my breath for 60 seconds. He carefully studied every single step of the mission, including the preparation time. At most, the mission would require 15 minutes. What scary thing could possibly happen in such a short amount of time? Chen Ge was interested not only because the mission looked simpler, but also due to a line among the mission description. Allow you to bypass the line between the living and the dead, giving you the opportunity to see those who have unfortunately passed away. Different from most, Chen Ge became calmer during periods of duress. He sat in his chair, contemplating the possibilities. His parents had disappeared in an abandoned countryside hospital, leaving behind nothing but a doll and the black phone. The black phone was activated when he was about to give up on the haunted house. During the first nightmare mission, the doll became the thing that saved his life. So the question worth pondering was, could the doll and the black phone have been purposely left behind by his parents to act as clues to their whereabouts? If that was true, then this second nightmare mission would be additionally interesting. Perhaps they're trying to contact me through this method to provide me with more information? Of course, this was merely Chen Ge's speculation. To be perfectly honest, even if the nightmare mission was not a plan set up by his parents, Chen Ge would carry on with this mission. Allow you to bypass the line between the living and the dead, giving you the opportunity to see those who have unfortunately passed away. For Chen Ge, this was a chance to confirm once and for all whether his parents were still alive or not. If he did not see his parents, then it meant that they were merely missing and still alive. If he did see them, then it would validate Chen Ge's first speculation. His parents left the black phone behind for a purpose, probably as a channel to siphon information to him. Perhaps the black phone even contained his parents' actual last words. Looks like I have no choice. Chen Ge glanced at his watch. It was already 2:55 a.m., 35 minutes until the starting time of the mission. I've wasted too much time shattering those mirrors on the 3rd floor. I've got to hurry. The mission requirement was for him to lie in a bathtub filled with water, but the only bathroom with a bathtub was inside the murder by midnight scenario. One of the doors of the workers' passageway was connected to a bathroom with a bathtub. It was the trap door Chen Ge had been using to enter the scenario and to shuttle He-san's group out of the scenario. There are only 35 minutes left. There isn't enough time to go look for a hotel with a bathtub, so it looks like I'll need to do this within the Mirror Monster's territory. Since the decision had been made, Chen Ge no longer hesitated. He carried the 4 dolls with him and exited the haunted house in the middle of the night to head toward the park's canteen to grab 2 cleavers. Even though these haven't been used to slaughter pigs or sheep before, I did see the workers use them to prepare chicken and fish. I suppose you can consider them blades that have tasted blood before. Chen Ge placed the blades beside his nose to take a sniff. Instead of the expectant smell of bloodshed, all he could smell was the heavy scent of green chilies and onions, which caused his eyes to water. After returning to the haunted house, Chen Ge ran between the fake bathroom and the toilet, carrying buckets of water. When it was 10 minutes to the start of the mission, he finally managed to fill up the tub. Everything is ready. It's time to start. The murder by midnight scenario's front door was closed, and Chen Ge entered the bathroom from the workers' passageway. As demanded by the black phone, he was inside the bathroom alone. The mirror inside the bathroom had already been shattered by Chen Ge. The pieces made scrunching noises as his footsteps shuffled over them. It was quite noisy transporting the water, so the mirror monster should know about my presence by now, but that doesn't matter. I only need to hold my breath for 1 minute, and everything will be fine. From Chen Ge's perspective, the mission was weird, but not that dangerous. He locked the bathroom's door from within and rested the doll left behind by his parents against the door. Then, he placed the 4 rag dolls that represented the lingering spirits of Ping An Apartment's victims around the bathtub. "Everyone, I'll be depending on your help later. Please help me fight for that 1 minute." Similar to before, he switched on his phone's recording camera and placed it on a suitable table to start the recording. However, the place was so dark that the screen was almost black. Expect for a fuzzy human-shaped shadow. At the 3-minute mark, Chen Ge removed the contents from his pockets and placed them on the counter. Following the black phone's instructions, he lit a candle and stuck it to the bathtub's rim. The dancing candlelight became the sole source of light in the room. Glancing downwards, Chen Ge saw his faces reflected in the many mirror pieces that littered the floor. He removed his shirt and took a step toward the bathroom. Ripples could be seen breaking the water's surface. The bathtub was shallow, but due to the dim lighting, Chen Ge found himself unable to see the bottom. Touching the water with his fingers, a chill ran up his arm and spread through his body, causing him to shiver. This mission sure is freaky. After taking one last look at the time, Chen Ge stepped into the tub while holding the 2 cleavers. As he sat down, the water overflowed, drenching the mirror pieces. Fuck, it's cold. Chen Ge could feel his body temperature dropping. Even his heart rate had slowed. The bathroom was quiet except for the dripping sound of water that fell down from the edge of the bathtub. Just 1 minute. After this 1 minute, I'll have the reward, and the most important question on my mind will be answered. Chen Ge breathed in and out to control his heart rate, waiting for 3:44 a.m. to arrive.